Hi everyone. Good evening. Hope you all are doing extremely well. And as you all know, today we have event of system design, and this is the first event of this particular category. And for this event, we have Mr. Vijay Kambala sir with us. He's a SD2 at Zeta Suit. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Squad Growth. How are you doing?
Thanks, Shaurya. So, well, Shaurya, I don't see anybody in this meeting, so I assume that they might be watching us from a different source of channel.
Yep, sir. They are watching you in Discord, and in
Mm.
this meeting, we are only two attendees.
Acha, okay, perfect. Yeah, sure. So, well, then I would like to take this forward, Shaurya. So, I assume that since I assume that you do not have any prior experience in system design, so well, after I, put my perspective to you for about nearly 10-20 minutes about what really system design is all about and what should we really care about while designing a system and so on and so forth. I mean, a lot of things to talk about in this stream. So you can have your own set of questions prepared to shoot across towards the end of the session, maybe. All right. So
Yes, sir.
let me take this from
Yep,
here.
yep, 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 yep.
So fundamentally, when we are given a problem to design some system to address that, so first of all, the thing is, um, a particular problem has been you know if there is any solution, if there is any solution that exists for that problem, how does it really cater the audience? I mean, how does it really cater the customers who have this real problem facing themselves? All right. So for example, for an instance, think of Uber, right? So uh, we did not really have a such a mechanism in the smartphone era to book a cab yourself using your mobile phone. All we had was sort of maybe call an agency and have a cab booked for yourself. Probably give them your address, and they're gonna charge you whatever amount you're agreed for, and so on and so forth, right? But this has been such a great problem for urban people, right? People living in urban cities and so on. So, I mean, if I really have to describe more about the problem that did exist for over nearly good amount of time. So when smartphone revolution, did come in, so people were extensively using smartphones, and there's a good chance for any sort of invention that's going to come in the smartphone era that can really address this problem. So that's how Uber did come actually forward. So see, fundamentally, when you are designing the system, so whom are you designing the system for, and what are the very high level perspective that you should really keep in mind? What is your design philosophy to address this problem? What sort of scale that you're going to deal with? So, and when you are designing such a system, right? If so, I mean, in terms of availability, if I have to talk about availability for a quick glance here, so even if the system goes down for a particular city, maybe is not responding for a particular city in a particular country, it should still start working. It should still be working or functioning rather in the different cities that it is serving. So they don't downside of the system. And number one, number two. So see, in a given country, in a given city, people may want to really just flood in to your app server and can start booking your making bookings. So in terms of scale, right? So you should always be ready with the number as to how many potential customers you have for this city, or rather for this city and this country, and for that, what is the amount of resources that you're going to be allocating to cater to the these kind of customer base you have out there, right? So and how consistent your system is. So consistent in terms of so is it rightly responding to every request that has been triggered, right? So making sure that nobody has been hindered, nobody who was just trying to book a cab has not their experience. Make sure that their experience is not hindered, right? And in terms of consistency, there's one more thing that I should talk about is the so I mean the overall app experience is remain same for all the customers, all the city, no matter what, right? So unless it's very a catastrophic situation, unless I mean, a particular city is flooded like anything, and there's no room or scope for cabs to enter onto the roads, right? So until there's any catastrophic incident occurring in a particular city, right? So the app experience should remain same across all over the time. I mean, so and see, well, the other thing that I should talk about is the price. The pricing algorithm is one such crucial algorithm. But before that, the see, obviously, when you are a customer and looking for a cab, right? So definitely, getting the number of cars nearby you who really want to serve you, who really want to really sort of pick you up and get you all the way to your destination is definitely a crucial algorithm, right? So, calculating your location and then calculating your surrounding locations and then picking up all the cabs nearby, maybe in the given radius that should be able to pick you up, is definitely a crucial algorithm for a system like Uber. Number one. Number two, as I just said, pricing is definitely a one more other crucial important factor for a system like Uber to consider. So when you're designing the system, so it's very important to figure out the philosophy of the design. And number one, and see how do you really come to the philosophy of the design is because is the only way is because the it only I mean you will only able to realize after seeing the kind of problem you are solving and having the potential who are the really
So we can't hear you. People, please wait for 1 minute. There's a network issue. Let us resolve that. So sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Actually, there's a network issue from the guest side. Um, so please give us 1 minute. Let us resolve it.
sorry, there seem to be some problem, Shaurya.
Yes,
Uh,
sir. Yes, there was.
can you hear? Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, fine. So, so where did I exit? Where
So
did I connect?
basically, you were discussing about Uber. Customer should not face any problem in booking the cabs and all this.
Right. So, I mean, that's sort of very specific to a particular problem we're discussing. However, in a very generic sense, when a problem is being given, so fundamentally, as I just said, two things that we should be considering is the in a sense of the philosophy of the design philosophy of the system we are solving for, and they fundamentally come from the core problem we are trying to solve. So that's one thing that definitely has to have a significant impact on your design because that is something that has to constantly render in our minds while we are thriving to improve the product or thriving to build the product. So the other things, so designing a system while designing a system, as I just said, the availability is equally important.
Sir, again, we can't hear you.
Hello, Shaurya.
Yes, sir. Now it is better.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, my internet connection is stable, but not really sure as to what's the problem.
Yes, sir. There is some network issue, I guess.
Hmm. All right. So, availability is something that I was just talking about. And make your system as redundant as possible, so that even if one region goes down for whatever reason it could be, you have other regions readily available serving your customer base. So that should be definitely one thing that has to be constantly in our minds while designing. So making the system redundant maybe costs us, but it is costing us at what? So it is costing us at having no zero time unavailability, right? We do have a system. We do have systems redundant, but we do have systems redundant, but and definitely it's going to be huge cost for a system to incur also, but that's again a trade-off that we want to choose, because once the system goes down, all your customers are unhappy, absolutely unhappy with the system, right? So there's no point actually. So if you always have a backup system for backup replacing system for you out there, no matter what, your customers are always going to be happy, because there's no experience change for them. There's no way that they can look for an alternate product. For instance, if I do have issues with Uber, then it's possible that I tend to look for a system like Ola, or any competition for that matter, right? So availability is definitely such a great factor to consider when you are designing a system, right? And so designing system, I mean, if it's more of a interview based thing, let's say if it's just more of an interview based thing, then the core magic lies in collecting the requirements cleverly, as to what are the fundamental features that we should be addressing for a prototype of the uh, system, right? And how do you really want to go ahead and solve those minimal requirements? So the classification broadly goes like this. So you, on the one hand, you have functional use cases to cover. On the other hand, you have non-functional, such as maybe availability, consistency, the other things, but basically the resiliency of the system, and how the fault tolerance of the system. Even if there's some fault, and how likely is that going to take away the whole system, or even if there is a fault, how long does the system take to recover itself from this fault? So these are going to be non-functional side. The functional side, we should primarily looking at. Now let's just talk about Uber itself. So book a cab is one fundamental API, and find a cab. So for the car owners to make this cab available API, right? So the moment that they hit the API, or start to hit on a button on mobile app, they're basically available within the game, right? Uh, as a player, and they should be available. And once you start to book a cab, right? So the algorithms that kick in to basically show up or pull up all the information from the backend server and show you beautifully on the UI. Then there goes the payment. Payment is obviously one such core philosophy of the Uber, right? And when it comes to systems like Uber or any systems that handle with such a great massive scale, they it is highly possible that they do not really serve you real time. They serve you sort of event based. So one system throws an event to another system, and there's a queue out there in the middle as a middleman. And the moment one system throws an event, this queue catches it up here, and then there is readily available another system who is going to constantly ask for those events, because it has to do something with that event, right? For instance, if I mean, I'll give you a classical example for an asynchronous yet be functionally right cases. So, for instance, you are placing an order in Amazon, right? So when you are placing an order in Amazon, the Amazon order should be the placing an Amazon order should be parallelly going on. Plus, they should also be sending out an email to you behind the scenes. That need not to be really real time, right? So it can be queued up somewhere, and the other system that actually who basically sends out an email picks up this event from this queue and sends out an email, right? It need not to be really real time, and it need not to really block your experience until it sends out an email. It should immediately respond back to you that your order is placed successfully, and behind the scenes, the email gets sent at its own pace based on the pace of the other system who picks up these events and starts to send out emails, right? So uh, so, Shaurya, should I still talk about any things or any areas that are not being covered? Yeah, I mean, system design is an infinite things,
Yep.
and a lot of it's an it's a I mean, the moment you gonna start of start to talk about it, you will be talking about it forever because there are a lot of things are horizons to talk about for a given problem. So,
So we
if you are
so we have couple of
yeah.
questions, and I think we should
Mhm.
take them.
Sure, please. Yeah.
Yep. So the first question we have is, what is the difference between system design and data analytics? Both sound similar.
No, not really. See, I mean, data analytics, see, system design is a, see, I mean, you have a problem out there and you're going to address that problem. That's system design. And I would say data analytics is going to be sort of an integral part of the system design. So, for instance, um, for example, let's just come to the same example we just talked about. So, building a solution like Uber, who instantly makes the cab available to you within no time, right, at an affordable price, right? I mean, with a competitive price because a lot of people want to serve you, right? And that's basically system design. You're designing a system for a particular problem. On the other hand, data analytics is all about, so let's say you are booking cab, you are extensively booking cab for nearly about good number of times a day, right? And so that's if I really want to see how you are interacting with the system over a period of time, how you are really talking to the system, how many bookings are you making, how many bookings are being cancelled, what is the locations you are traveling to, and based on that, I would want to I maybe want to suggest something to you. I maybe want to really give you a better experience, right? So that's basically analytics. I mean, we are basically seeing a pattern in your behavior and making your experience better. That's data analytics. Totally different from designing a system.
Got it, sir. Got it.
Yeah.
People, if you have any question, just put in the message section because now it's Q&A session. We are going to take your questions. So the next question we have is, one second, please.
Yeah.
Yep. Is system design is a mixture of UI design and coding and data analytics?
No, not really. So UI doesn't really come under designing a system. Rather, it comes under UX maybe, right? So UI is definitely not a part of system design. But as I just said, designing data analytics, I mean, bringing data analysis and analytics into the picture is definitely under system design because you are end of the day collecting the data to make the experience better of individuals. So that's definitely part of system design, right?
Um, One second. Yep. So the next question is, what is the best system according to you?
Best system in terms of
Uh, User hasn't mentioned anything. I think they want to ask what ideal system should contain.
ideal system should, as I just said, has to be available round the clock and should be resilient enough and has to be fault tolerant and has to be consistent um, and and should not really be prone to and very secured environment. It should be under very secured environment, having no access to the hackers, addressing each and everything, every aspect of security, not really making the system not really vulnerable for the attackers to attack and steal you, maybe steal your data, maybe make your users themselves unsecure with the platform. So yeah, these things do come under this.
So, sir, can we say that system design is like a topmost layer which contains data analytics, which contains security, which contains best experience of the user in it?
So
Can we
well,
say that?
system design is basically everything that comes in the back end of what a front end is. For
Mm.
instance, we have this Zoom and we have each other's face being seen up here, but behind the scenes, there are a lot of algorithms that are running, making our experiences better. Whatever is not really visible to us is going to be just back end, right? Is everything that lies in a server, and whatever we are seeing out here is just sort of a interface, user interface terminal of the system. So system design is sort of sorry, maybe did I distract from the question?
So basically, I was saying that system design is the topmost layer, and in this we have security, data analytics, everything which
Yes,
makes the system better.
I would say system design is basically if it's a circle, then all these entities that you're just talking about fall within that circle, fall within that entity.
Got
It's a superset basically.
got it, got it. So the next question we have is, can anybody be a system designer, or is it like each everyone has to be of a particular niche, like software engineer or system security engineer? Can
Uh,
yeah,
well, it's definitely their passion as to what they really want to become. So if you ask me, I really love building systems. I really love addressing engineering problems, integrate maybe systems integration. I would love to talk about them, love to work with them. Maybe if I am being asked to write a new engine altogether, new design a new system, then I feel very challenged about it, and I would love to do such things in general, because that's something that your core interest lies within, right? As to what you want to become, what you want to do,
sir, again we can't hear you.
uh,
Yep, now we can hear you, sir.
yeah.
Yes. So people, if you have any other question, just put it in the message section. Else we will wrap up the event. So till then, if anybody is posting any question, would you like to give any advice or any tip to the beginners or the one who want to be a system designer?
Definitely, sure. So there are YouTube that one should definitely follow to improve their knowledge, particularly around system designing things. There are plenty. I would share them with you. Gaurav Sen is one is interview ready. He's already running a platform, right? I hope you're aware of it. You're aware of it. You know that platform, interview ready. So that basically addresses designing the system. So how do you go on to solve a particular problem with, enabling all the components together. So Gaurav Sen, and there are a couple more guys whom I actually followed a lot to improve my system design capabilities. In fact, so I'll share them with you, Shaurya. Not a problem.
Got it, sir. Got it.
All right.
Once, just 1 minute.
Mhm.
People, if you have any question, then just put it in the message section. Else, in the next 1 minute, we will wrap up the session. Because if we don't have any question, then the session is completed. So please wait for 1 minute and let me see if we have any question or not.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Is this session recorded? I think you want to
Yes.
ask that you will get the recording of this session or not. Yes, you will definitely get the recording. Don't worry about it. So yeah, we don't have any other question. Thank you very much, sir, for providing huge knowledge to our community. It is really helpful to us, and yeah, it's really great to connect with you.
Yeah, pleasure is mine, Shaurya. Happy to connect. Me too. So yeah, we'll collaborate a lot going forward and try to share the knowledge and yeah, be helpful with each other for each
Definitely,
other.
sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Take care. Keep learning.